Hello, I'm Quartermuncher. Welcome to the Quartermuncher Experience, where I play RPGs I've put off for too long. Quartermuncher came into existence the day Nintendo returned my broken Switch to me, alongside a game I had to import specifically for my collection. The Baten Kaitos HD Remaster Collection contained two games. Baten Kaitos Origins, an RPG from yesterday that I had played about halfway but never finished, and I loved what I experienced. The Let's Play of Baten Kaitos Origins formed what would become the Quartermuncher Experience, which leads me to deal with the original game, Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings, and the Lost Ocean, a game I had played back in high school and I could still tell you some things about. It's been a couple decades, so I think it's time for a replay. This is not a review, this is a journey. Let me tell you about the Quartermuncher Experience. Baten Kaitos was originally developed during the Nintendo GameCube era as a collaboration between Monolith Soft and Tricrescendo. Baten Kaitos stood apart through card-based mechanics, unique narrative, and a strong emphasis on atmosphere. I'm currently playing the Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 collection for the Nintendo Switch. Baten Kaitos is set in a world where the land exists as floating islands eons after the oceans have disappeared. The setting is dreamlike, isolated, and all about the atmosphere. Towns in here are distinct and memorable. Each island has its own identity, and towns feel like self-contained worlds. Dungeons themselves, what starts off as a very simple classic adventure slowly becomes something more, and I can't say anything more about that because the game's story is definitely one of its strongest elements. Baten Kaitos battle system, every character has their own deck of cards to use. That includes their own weapons, some use weapons, some use spells. Some use their own finishing attacks. Some items are for all characters, some have their own exclusive armor. It's up to you to keep them situated for all three of your major characters. You use combos based off number sequences. Cards represent attacks, items, and defense, and you have to sequence them all into usable offense and defense depending on your terms. It's strategic, it's sometimes unpredictable, but once you understand it, it makes things easier. Character progression in Baten Kaitos is all about refining your deck and learning various synergies. As far as quests and side bosses go, there's not too many side quests throughout the game. There's a ton of magnets to collect if that's what you're into. I'm not, I really cared just to beat the game, and that was that. One thing that has to be addressed about Baten Kaitos is its unique presentation. You are in this game. You, as in characters, address you as in a guardian spirit. That's who you play as. It creates a different kind of immersion, as opposed to either a silent protagonist, or in Callus's case, not a silent protagonist. Also have to be mentioned are the graphics, the beautiful pre-rendered environments, the backdrops, the distinct island aesthetics. It's gorgeous. Speaking of gorgeous, the outstanding soundtrack by Motoi Sakuraba. It's atmospheric, emotional, memorable, and I think it actually might come across stronger than most of his Tales games. Alas, there's also the voice acting. I'm playing the Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD collection, which chose not to bring in the English dub. This is not the worst decision, because the English dub for the original dub was not that great to begin with. In the remasters, there's a smooth performance, cleaner UI. The original showed its age in some areas. It was a game made close to 2 decades ago. And the difficulty curve can occasionally spike due to RNG. However, the game itself is wonderful, so it's worth the suffering, I believe. In my playthrough of Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean, I played through most of the game as normal. It's a fairly linear A to B JRPG. I played a lot of them throughout this channel. My party included Callus, Zelha, and Gibari, the first 3 characters you get, and I did not particularly change them out because of, let's just say, elemental weaknesses. The other party members include Liud, whose elements remain strictly light and dark, Sabina, whose elements include wind and chrono, and Mizuti, who is a mage, as opposed to Zelha, who is also a mage. As far as things I liked, I loved the locations of Baten Kaitos. Baten Kaitos has some of the most memorable locations I've ever seen in a game. An RPG town that's straight out of Candyland followed by a mind screw of a dungeon, that's still memorable even after 16 years. I also love Baten Kaitos' soundtrack and visuals. It's a treat to the eyes, it's a treat to look at, it's a treat to play. I also love how unique Baten Kaitos is. You level up in churches that have no explanation in the plot, an entire card-based universe, this art style. There's a lot of stuff here that's not replicated in other RPGs, and that just shows how much care Baten Kaitos has. Another thing I liked was the story. Without saying too much, the characters in here are great, and the overall plot itself here is also great. I see Baten Kaitos as the one game where Nintendo took a look at it and was like, you know what? What would happen if we decided to give these guys some roids? The kind of roids that make Super Mario super. And one thing I disliked about Baten Kaitos is, as far as the combat is concerned, RNG. I played enough Magic the Gathering to know the meanings of the word land screwed, or mana screwed, or mana flooded. Both of those are opposite problems. Both of those are problems that just occur in just about any other card game, and Baten Kaitos is no exception. The best part of Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean is Mira. It's a continent with some of the most unique locations I've ever seen in any RPG, and I have seen many of them. A town made of chocolate, a dungeon that's a funky hall of mirrors, a storybook village, and an upside-down dungeon? Good luck competing with that. As far as the worst part of Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings, and the Lost Ocean, I can't exactly say because it's a spoilery boss fight. The boss fight in question exists, but it's not the worst part. Immediately after this boss fight is the same exact fight you just won. That's right, you get 2 boss fights in a row. It's pretty painful the first time, but the second time it's just annoying. It's the worst part of the game as far as I'm concerned. Alright, by the numbers, Baten Kaitos had 6 party members. Each of those party members had 1 deck of cards. That's 3 decks of cards in total for combat, with hands of about 8 or 9 once you're fully leveled. Baten Kaitos took me about 45 hours. I was level 65 for the final boss. And final results, I'm going to give this game a 10 out of 10. Baten Kaitos definitely needs more love, and it is overall a very, very high 9 masterpiece that I find trouble finding a flaw in it. Until next time, I'm Quartermuncher, and I'll see you all next season. Till then, ta-ta.